Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs and welcome back for episode 3 of the Minecraft Survival Guide. How are you guys doing? I hope you're having a lovely day. Today we're going to do a couple of things. Today we're going to mainly go caving. That is the objective of today's episode, is to go caving, acquire some more resources, hopefully grab a lot of iron and some other materials if we can find them. But first of all, we're going to do one of the things that I meant to do at the end of the last episode but didn't quite have the chance to, and that is to breed some animals. As you can see, some of the wheat here grew overnight, and one of the things that I need to do right away is head over to these animals with these bundles of wheat. And you can tell that the animals get a little bit excited because they know they're going to get fed. Now, with 2 pieces of wheat, by right-clicking on those 2 cows, you can get the cows to breed, and they will produce a lovely, adorable little cow. It'll give you a little bit of experience, and the first time you do it, it will get you the advancement called the parrots and the bats. It's a bit like the birds and the bees, except there's only one type of bird and no bees in Minecraft, so parrots and bats were the closest things they could manage. So, as you can see, we've got 3 cows in here, but you can only breed them 2 at a time, and once they've bred once, they need a little bit of time to recover before they can breed a second timer, before you can breed one cow with a completely different cow. So naturally, we're going to give them a little bit of time and space. We're also going to give the children time to grow up into regular adult-sized animals, which usually takes around 5 minutes or so. They will eat grass and stuff and they will grow. You can also speed up their growth artificially by feeding them wheat. So if I right-click on that little sheep there, you didn't see the particles because the other ones were crowding him, but maybe if you just saw those little green stars in there, that will actually speed up the time it takes for that sheep to grow into a full-sized sheep. So we don't need to worry too much about that. Those guys will be happy in their pen. I am going to grab this mutton chop that I cooked up in the furnace last time. I won't eat that in front of the animals because that would be a little bit cruel. And we're going to grab some supplies for caving with. For a start, I'm going to make sure we have these oak logs with us. I can consolidate those in the inventory, so we've got a few of those with us. I'm also going to grab another piece of cobblestone because, as you can see right here, our stone pickaxe is kind of low on durability. By the way, when we started off this series, I had the advanced tooltips hidden. So if you press F3 and H on the Java version of Minecraft, it will actually hide those tooltips, and it will only show you the attack speed, the attack damage, and the only way you know about the durability of certain tools is by the fact that they have this green bar that slowly goes down, turns from yellow to red, and then the tool breaks. However, if you press F3 and H to turn on advanced tooltips, it will actually give you a durability value, like a numeric value for that, and I find that really useful. So for the rest of this series, we're going to be playing with those tooltips on. It also tells you the ID of the item. For example, it says Minecraft wooden pickaxe there. That's the code the game uses to identify what that item is. And NBT tags are something that I will explain a lot later because they're not really relevant to the start of Minecraft. But just in case you're curious about what it says down there, those are called NBT tags. Now, I'm going to put away any of the non-essential items for going caving. So we're not going to need the wheat because we don't plan on breeding any animals down there or anything like that. So I'm going to bring some sticks because we want to make another pickaxe, another stone pickaxe right away because, like I said, this one is getting a little bit low on durability. So we're going to grab one of those. We'll bring the sticks with us because the sticks can be used to make torches. In fact, I've only got 16 torches right now, so I might as well make those now. And we've also got a little bit of wood with us, so we could make a crafting table or turn some stuff into planks if we need blocks to use, or even turn that into sticks to make more torches, because the cave system I plan on exploring today is actually pretty large. Aside from that, we're not carrying very much. I've got an arrow with me, but I don't have a bow yet. Hopefully, if we encounter some spiders or maybe a skeleton, we'll drop a bow once we kill it. Then we should be able to use a bow and arrow for the first time. But the rest of the stuff I've got is just gear that I will need for potentially mining, and then gear for safety. So for example, a water bucket can be used to drown lava so that it doesn't hurt you. It'll all turn into obsidian and it will be safe to walk on. That kind of thing is essential when you're exploring caves for the first time, and especially if you don't know what to expect. Now my hunger bar is getting a little bit low again, so I'm probably going to eat this mutton chop now, and that will sustain me for a little while. Now, the problem with hunger in Minecraft is, of course, if it gets down low enough, you start to starve. And on some difficulties, the starvation will not kill you. If you're playing on easy or normal, it will only take you down to about half health, or about, like, I think 1 health, or maybe half a heart of health left, or if you're playing on normal mode. If you're playing on hard mode, you will end up dying of starvation if you don't find something to eat. So it's very important to keep that in mind and to make sure you stay full up. The other thing about the hunger bar is that if it gets to 3 little kind of ham shanks there, 3 little shank icons, you won't be able to run because you've run out of kind of energy, I suppose. You've sort of run out of the energy required to run around. So it's very important, like I said, to keep the hunger bar full and make sure you've got enough food. And right now I don't have a great deal of food because we haven't been able to breed the animals often enough that I have enough to kill them regularly and get meat. We also haven't found another decent food source aside from the wheat that is still growing in that field. But what we can do is grab ourselves the iron from the wall of this cave and make sure we use our hunger bar kind of sparingly. The way the hunger bar gets used is via a number of things. You've got actions that you can perform, whether it's mining, whether it's sprinting. Running around like normal will probably also end up depleting your hunger bar a little bit, but only a little bit at a time. And running and jumping is the kind of thing that tends to deplete your hunger bar the fastest. So you just have to be a little bit careful about how often you do that. Now, as you can see, this is a nice expansive cave system. This is actually perfect for what we have in mind. We want to go exploring down a nearby cave and hopefully find a little bit more iron. We already have 7 iron on us, which is perfectly fine for what we want to do right away. We should be able to go back and smelt that and be able to make an iron pickaxe and maybe even some other iron tools, or maybe start on some more armor because right now we only have iron boots. But I think it is probably worth exploring. Oh, hello, friend. We have a creeper. Let me get a safe distance away so I can fight this guy on my own terms. There we go. We can rush towards him like that. If you sprint and attack something, then it usually ends up getting knocked back further than what you would normally get from a regular swing of the sword. So sometimes if you sprint and run at something, it's a good idea to get it further away like that, especially if it's a creeper, because they tend to explode, as that guy just did. And we even have more creepers running at us right now, although there is a skeleton behind him, so we need to be a little bit careful. We need to put our shield up and block the arrows. There we go. Fantastic. So by holding down right-click, you can use your shield, and that will actually block certain types of damage a lot of the time. You can actually block creeper explosions with the shield as well, although I don't recommend doing that up close. And then if you're quick, you can block skeleton arrows. If you just hold down right-click when you're near a skeleton, and the arrow will rebound off your shield, and you can even get the arrow to attack the skeleton in return. It can bounce off the shield and hit the skeleton right in the face. So that's what I try to do a lot of the time when I'm caving in the early game and I don't have enough armor to survive a full-on attack with a skeleton. But right here, I can see from the subtitles that there are spiders, and you can hear spiders behind the walls here. So maybe we should move towards that and try and get our first bow. Obviously, the creepers have other ideas, so let's make sure we deal with these guys before we move on. You'll notice I also tend to look around and check where my exits are and stuff a lot when I'm caving. Oh, there we go. We took a little bit of damage from that guy. He didn't take out his friend, but we managed to do it. There we go. Fantastic stuff. Let me rebuild a little staircase so I can get up here nice and easily. So yeah, it's important to check your surroundings when you're caving, especially if you're about to run away from something, because if you run blindly, you might end up somewhere that you don't want to be. You might end up falling down a hole like this and get disoriented, or you might end up running into another creeper that got around behind you or something like that. So it's usually quite important to check around before you do anything that's going to distract you from heading in one direction or the other, like running away or even mining. Like I'm looking around a lot just to make sure it's safe to mine this ore before I continue. But it looks like we're getting a healthy amount of iron here. It looks like this cave is pretty iron rich, which is going to be fantastic for what we need to do in just a moment. And I'm going to explore to the end of the cave here just to make sure this cave turns into a dead end, which it does. So that's fantastic. We've got enough torches up here that it doesn't look like anything is going to spawn, because lighting up the place with torches is how you prevent mobs from appearing when you're not looking. So we're going to grab the rest of this iron here, and I think now that we've gathered enough of this iron, we might be able to even head back to our base and smelt some of it up. Oh, there's plenty here. Wow, okay. We got rich really early here, folks. We got very, very lucky. And if you're playing along in this world, all of this iron will be here as well, so you can go ahead and mine it yourself, and you should be able to find the same iron that I'm finding in this episode. Once again, the seed for these worlds, for this world in particular, is always going to be in the description of the video. So make sure you've got the right world seed when you put it in, and you should be able to find all of the same resources that we're gathering in today's episode. So it looks like the sun has moved across the sky and it's setting, so we're going to run back to the house really fast. I don't need to worry too much about sprinting right now because I'm running back to the house to safety, and we will hop in there. We're going to put the iron ore in the furnace with a couple of pieces of coal. I think we'll need 3 to smelt the entirety of that little piece of iron ore right there, and then we're going to go to bed, and we're going to call it a day for the moment. Good morning, everyone, and I hope you slept well. So I'm going to go and grab a little bit more wheat from the field over here because it looks like a little patch over here has grown, which is fantastic stuff. I'm going to plant the rest of the seeds. Remember that it's going to give you more seeds as you grow more and more wheat, so it's important to replant these things. Let's replant that. There we go. Looks like our wheat field is growing nicely. And of course, the more wheat that's growing here, the more wheat we'll eventually be able to harvest. So that's really good. Now let's see if our cows are looking like breeding again yet, because we were down that cave for a little while. It looks like the baby cow might even have grown up, unless... Oh, no, he's down there. Okay. So let's see if we can breed 2 cows together again. We can. Fantastic stuff. So let's grab the experience from that. Let's pop into the pen here, and now that we've got a few different cows, it might be possible for us to trim the herd a little bit, and unfortunately that means we're killing one of them. There we go. But from that, we got 1 leather and we got 2 raw beef. And raw beef is one of the better foods that you can eat in Minecraft. It restores more hunger points and it keeps you full for longer. So it's going to be quite important for us to have a little bit of raw beef. And we're not going to kill all of the adult cows because obviously that means we'd only be left with the 2 babies, which we can't breed straight away. But it's always worth breeding a few cows before you end up killing them. That way you're never going to run out. So right now, the furnace is tied up with smelting all of that lovely iron that we found, and I think I'm going to create myself another furnace, because you don't just have to have one furnace in Minecraft, and sometimes it's very useful to be able to cook more than one thing. So this furnace over here is going to be our food furnace, and I'll pop that in there, maybe with a couple of planks, just to make sure that the stuff cooks all the way through, because we don't want to be eating raw beef, we want to be eating cooked beef. And I can place some of the stuff that I've gathered from that cave over here in the chest. We've even got some more wheat here, so I could go outside and breed the sheep while that stuff is cooking. How about we do that? I think these 2 should be able to breed once more. There we go, and the baby sheep has now grown up into a full-size sheep, so there you go. Feeding him the extra wheat did some good. Fantastic stuff. Let's hop right in here. We get a little bit caught on the door there, no worries, and we'll pop the wheat in there. I think we'll probably leave the cobblestone here as well, and we'll even leave the gunpowder that we got from those creepers in there. So now we have 16 iron, which is fantastic. That's a great number to start with because we'll be able to make a couple of decent tools with this, not least an iron pickaxe, which is going to be the next step up from stone, and stone can be used to mine anything up to and including iron ore, and it can be used to mine a couple of other things as well. I think lapis you can still break with a stone pickaxe, but an iron pickaxe is needed for things like redstone, gold, and probably most importantly of all, diamonds. So an iron pickaxe is a very important tool to have, and we're going to keep it here in our inventory. We're not going to use it yet because iron is actually pretty precious at this stage in the game, but there we go. We got an advancement for that, and we can collect the rest of the iron from the furnace and decide what else we're going to make with this. Now, I already have a set of iron boots, as you can see down there. The iron boots are doing very well for me. They're providing 1 full piece of armor on the bottom bar there, but I think we can do better than that. With 17 iron, we can make ourselves an iron chest plate, which is going to be very useful for protecting us, and also some iron leggings, so we can have some trousers to walk around with. And I'm going to hold down Shift and click those so they appear in my inventory right there. And now you can see my armor bar has shot up. I am now a very well protected man, and that's going to be very useful for caving, because if we run into any more skeletons and I'm not quick enough with the shield, hopefully the armor will still absorb some of the damage that we would have taken. And now, as you can see, the field over here is actually growing wheat quite consistently, which is good. Every time we come back over here, there's probably going to be a couple more wheat that's grown over here, and we can add to our collection of wheat over here in the house. Now, obviously, we're not going to be breeding the animals up right away, but we will save that for later when we can. And we've got ourselves another steak and an apple that we can eat while we're going caving. I reckon it's probably time to return to the caves. When you're caving at this stage in the game, it's important to collect more or less any resources that you stumble upon. So if you find some coal, that is probably worth mining. If you find some iron at this stage, that is definitely worth mining because you'll need to smelt it up for more tools and more armor especially if you end up losing some of your armor. Coal is useful for torches and for smelting things, so that's a vital resource right now. And as you get further down into the caves, you'll start to encounter more and more resources. Like there's some iron up here in the ceiling, which is fantastic. I will take that right now, and I will be sure to make good use of that. It's always worth going a couple of torch lengths ahead and lighting up a cave, because you never know what could be lurking around the corner. For example, this skeleton here. So let's get rid of this guy. Let's see if we can take him out. There we go. Fantastic. Oh no! There's a baby zombie. Baby zombies are a variation on zombies, and they are a lot quicker. They are smaller, and in some versions they have less health than the average zombie. There's 2 baby zombies. Oh no, it's a zombie family. Oh dear. Oh, we're getting cornered here. Okay, well, I think we should be able to do okay if we make sure to make use of the shield. The shields can block like melee damage. They can block up close and personal damage as well as arrows. Luckily we did okay, but look at that. We've taken almost half of our health in damage. So I need to eat really fast, because otherwise my health will not rejuvenate. There we go. So I'm going to eat my steak. That was probably not the best thing to do, actually, because the steak would replenish 4 hunger points, and I only needed to replenish 1. So I could have eaten the apple instead. But you know what? I feel like treating myself to a steak after winning that particular battle. So let's take a quick look around here to make sure there are no more monsters on the way. Look, there's a creeper. We'll be able to either make him explode or just take him out. Got to make sure that the skeleton doesn't shoot us with an arrow in the meantime. There we go. The creeper even ends up damaging the skeleton. So that worked out pretty well. We're now in a hole with the skeleton, but that's fine. We can take him out. No problem. All right. Well, I'm going to light up this, because it seems like monsters are definitely coming from this way. And it looks like they take a couple of seconds to notice you occasionally, but that shouldn't be a problem right now. We can take this guy out nice and easily. There we go. Just a couple of quick chops with our iron sword was enough to deal with him. So let's head back. Now we've made sure this section here is secure. That one over there looks like it's okay for the moment. If a skeleton shoots us from behind, we can always quickly turn around and deal with it. Oh, there are creepy noises down here in the caves, though. You'll notice that occasionally these eerie noises start to play when you're in a cave, but that's not really something to worry about. It's not actually the creaking of some ancient machine behind the walls. You don't have to worry too much about that. It's just something that the developers have put in for a bit of ambience, a bit of creepy cave vibe. Oh wow, okay, it looks like the caves have gotten very busy. And these creepers are coming out to play all over the place. We've just got to be very, very careful that they don't explode in our faces. That's the only thing. Right. Well, it looks like we've gathered a little bit more iron and a little bit more coal. That is fantastic. Of course, if we wanted to start up a little furnace down here, we could always craft a crafting table and then a furnace and use that to smelt the rest of the iron. That's always a possibility if we didn't want to go all the way back to our house before exploring the rest of this cave. But I think going back to the house might be a good idea soon, because you know what? We are running very low on food right now. I think we'd probably better eat this apple. This was our backup apple, and we've always got some zombie flesh that we can eat if we need to, but we don't really want to do that right away. So let's just wander a little bit further into this cave and see if there's any more resources we can grab before we make our way home. How about that? Looks like I've run out of torches. Let's quickly craft some more, but I can hear some spider noises around here, so we will need to be very quick about that. We'll need to be nice and careful. The good thing about finding water flowing like this in caves is that sometimes it will push the monsters away from you. So if mobs try and walk into water, they will get stuck very quickly. They won't really be able to walk towards you all that well. So if you see water flowing downwards, you can usually head down this way without worrying too much about the mobs coming at you. Now, I am going to grab this little section of iron here, and then I think we'll try and head into this next section of cave. This is where caving becomes a little bit risky, because you never know quite what's going to happen as you go further and further down. Like that zombie around the corner. I didn't even spot that guy. Look at him hanging out in this little corner booth in the wall. There we go. Well, that should be okay for the moment. Let's take a quick look into here. I'm hearing these spider noises all around me, but I don't know quite where the spiders are hanging out, so we might have to investigate that later, especially if we want some string for a bow. Now let's switch to the next stone pickaxe, because that one has broken on us. Let's grab this iron from the ceiling, and then I think it will probably be time to head back to the house. This has been a very successful caving trip so far. Obviously, there were a lot of monsters down there, but I think we did all right. I think we dealt with it pretty well, and we have come away with another 16 iron, which will be enough to make ourselves some extra tools, maybe some backup tools in case we die, and we'll have enough to complete an iron helmet, which is the last piece of armor we need before we have a full suit of iron armor, which which is going to be very, very useful as we continue to explore down here. Now, just because we've reached a few dead ends in this cave does not mean that the caving experience has ended, because, of course, in Minecraft, you can dig down through the layers of rock until you find a different cave, and that is probably what we will end up doing in the next episode. We might go in search of those spiders, we might explore a couple of other caves in the area, but we are going to try and get down a little bit further than this, because our next objective, once we've got an iron pickaxe, is probably to find some diamonds. Now, we're going to save that for next time, though, because it looks like night is falling out here. It looks like we need to pop the rest of this iron in the furnace, go to sleep, and then maybe off camera, in between episodes, I'll breed up a few more of these animals so we can have a decent supply of food. That's going to be very important for our continued adventures in the caves, so I think we'll grow a little bit more wheat. We could even grow it artificially using the bones that we've got. Remember, you can turn those into bone meal to grow crops, and then we can end up breeding up the animals a little bit more with the wheat that we gather from that. So that's going to do for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Minecraft Survival Guide. My name has been Pixlriffs. Don't forget to leave a like on these episodes if you've been enjoying them. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care. Bye for now.